More important to long-term success, company culture or systems and processes? Chris Jefferson, let's start with you. CJ.
Man, that's tough, man. Long-term success, I'm going to really say systems and processes. I think systems and processes are going to drive your company culture at the end of the day. You're only going to be as good as your core values. You're only going to be as good as the training that you have for your team. That in itself is what, in my opinion, is really going to create, nurture, cultivate, the culture of your business. So, I'm 110% always going to be a systems and process guy. If you build that out correctly, structure a strong team around that, you yourself as leadership show that you honor those values as well, and you can actually get in the trenches and do the work. You're going to have an amazingly great culture. People are going to rally around you, and you guys as a team are going to make tons of money together. So systems and processes for me.
All right. Let's go RJ Bates for the follow-up.
Yeah, I'm going to mirror everything that CJ just said. I'm going to go with systems and processes because I think if you have those in place, to CJ's point, I think that's where you create that positive company culture. I think that can be developed over the course of time, because I think if you're going back to the beginning, you say, hey, we're going to have this great culture about us, but you don't have systems and processes and there's no success. People might love working for the company, but if they're not able to pay their bills and the business is not going to sustain itself because you don't have the appropriate systems and processes, then you're going to fail. And so I think ultimately that's the key to everything in business. It starts with the systems that you choose and then the processes that you develop yourself for your business. I think that's the ultimate key to long-term success.
All right. Let's jump over to Leon Barnes.
So I'm going to go a little bit different here. For me, for long-term success, you've heard me say now for 2 weeks, culture is very, very important to me. And to me, culture is what attracts and retains top talent. Now, don't get me wrong, systems and processes, I'm a good friend of Gary Harper and he preaches it and I make sure that I preach it with him because it is important. But for me, having run teams in the past, not only on a corporate level, but also a real estate team as well, when I can attract and retain top talent, that top talent truly defines my long-term success on my systems and processes. They help define those systems and processes. And systems and processes, last I checked, doesn't necessarily attract those top players. So for me, it's culture first, and then that culture helps define the great systems and processes that we need for long-term success.
All right, and let's close it out with Steve Trang.
I think CJ was so wrong that we should just take his points off the board, right? So Peter Drucker, right? He said, culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? Like you can have great systems process, and I think it's important, right? But it's not one or the other. But if I have to pick, if I was going to be an A in one and B in the other, I would pick culture over systems and process all day because, like every business starts off as sales and marketing, it evolves into systems and processes. But at the end of the day, the people, right? The people run the business. If you look at Southwest Airlines, right? Like you can go. There have been people that tried to replicate Southwest Airlines, right, with the systems and processes, but without the culture, without the people, it's just another airline. So I think the culture is what differentiates you, helps you again find top talent, and more importantly, retain top talent.
Okay. Let me give a quick example of this real quick. Let me jump in here because from a team perspective, having been a former high school basketball coach and AAU coach in the summertime, I can take a great team unit with great culture that doesn't have great X's and O's and beat a team that has less of culture, less of chemistry, but runs great plays. 9 times out of 10, I'm beating that team. To me, culture is so important to an organization's long-term success because if you have great systems and processes, but you have poor culture, I don't think you can continue to be successful long-term.
So if you have great culture though, but you don't have any systems and processes, what are you as a business? What are you doing?
Right. It didn't say RJ. It didn't. It didn't say that you don't. It says what's more important.
Yeah, it's
But
not
that's
either
what-
or. It's not
answered
either
it.
or. It's not either.
But
It's like which one
But
would you
can we
prefer?
not make the assumption, though, guys, that if the question states more important to long-term success, I think we could safely assume. Now, I dropped out of college. I don't know about you, gentlemen. You guys look pretty smart. All right, I dropped out of college, but I think from reading comprehension classes that I could probably figure out that this means that this is a conversation that's have as a business on the front end to determine how we can have long-term success.
I think
So
if
I
you
think
have
you can talk about culture, but how do you have culture in the beginning of a business when you're trying to project and plan for
you are the
long-term
culture
success?
in
I
the
think you
beginning.
gotta
In the
build a
beginning, you are the culture. You're the
You
leader.
define it.
But I would say it was company culture or systems and processes. It was one or the other, and you had to pick one. I think you're out of business. I don't think you run a business if you don't have both.
I agree with that.
I would also say that your systems and processes can develop your culture over the course of time. And that's my point is that if early on, to
Same.
see the point, that's how I read it. If I have systems and processes, I'm going to be able to go out and recruit talent because I'm going to be able to show them, hey, we're set up for success. And then I'm going to bring in that top talent and develop the culture inside.
I think
for our
if I go work at Titanium, I'm working for RJ. I'm not working for RJ Systems. Right? You are the culture.
When I first started, no one cared about RJ.
They might not have known who you were, and you're still not very popular. But back then, it was because when I interviewed with RJ, I was like, I really like this guy. I like where he's going, right? I want to work for this guy, right? It's not about how famous you were. It was
What them on Titanium, though, was the fact that we had a business set up. They could see the vision because they thought, okay, hey, we're going to come in. We're going to do this inside of your business. I now understand it. If it's, hey, this is going to be a really cool place and I'm a really cool guy and we're going to have this great culture together. Okay, how do we go? How do I make money? How do I pay my bills?
Yeah, so RJ, let me jump in for RJ too, because it's not often that we agree. All right. Look, I hear you guys on all this company culture stuff and all of that, and that all sounds real fancy and cool and nice, but people want to make money. Okay.
Yep.
People want to make money. All right. You know what drives company culture? When everybody's making money and everybody's feeling good and we're all aligned with our core values. That's when you drive company culture. All right. When people hit me up and I speak on stage and they say, how did you develop this crazy culture at Charged Up University? Everybody's going crazy because I got in the trenches up front. Right. Leadership. I got in the trenches up front. I'm on the phones. I'm showing them how to do this, showing them how to do that. And people start to make money. And when people start to make money, people feel good. And that, to me, is what drives culture.
I disagree with that. If I'm part of Supercharged, I want to work with CJ. I love what the energy CJ brings.
The reason that I'm on this side, on the culture side, guys, is taking over teams that didn't have systems, processes, and no culture. I didn't start by going in and diving into, let's get nerdy and get into these systems and processes. Let's develop our team and our long-term core values and the culture first. We can always figure out what we're missing on that other side. So for me, again, most important, not saying that systems and process are not, because they are super, super important, but I'm going to work for that culture first because I can build off of that.
All right. Go ahead. One more point before we go to the chat.
I was just going to say, I find that adorable. I mean, I really, if you're new hire, you say, okay, you're my acquisitions guy. I don't know how you're actually going to acquire property today, but let's sit down and talk about our core values as a company. He's going to be like, bro, I am out of here.
RJ, let's share a Budweiser. RJ, let's share a Budweiser and talk about how we might make some money one day. I don't know what we're doing. We don't have a script. I don't have a list yet, but I mean, look, man, I'm excited. All right, we're going to do this together. The culture is great here. Let's go play Nintendo.
Well, it didn't say if you're in startup phase. It says what's most important to long-term success.
I love systems and process. Like, don't forget, right? I'm a recovering engineer. I'm just saying, long-term success, the people versus the systems.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tally up the votes really quickly. A couple chats that I'll highlight. Larry Bush said he disagrees with CJ. It's never either or. But bad culture sabotages good systems and processes. Interesting take.
Great point.
Great point. Gene Knows Hoops said Leon is 100%. correct. Now, Leon, I got to be honest with you. Gene Knows Hoops is a Lakers fan, so I don't think he knows about positive culture. So I don't know if you can take that
You don't trust his judgment, do you?
And the votes are in. It looks like Leon Barnes took it. So congrats to Leon Barnes
All
on
right.
the board.
All
Is
right.
this Leon's first round? Is this?
This is my first true point.
First
Yes.
full round.
Okay.
First full round.
Yes.
All right.
All right, here we
Full
go.
point
I
for
like it.
Leon.
I like it. I
On
like
the
it.
board.